All right. Good
Yeah.
evening. We are excited to be on tonight. God bless you, everybody that's coming on. You guys are amazing. I see people coming in early, so I love it. Hey, we're going to go ahead and get started. I just want to let a few people log in and get in now. And as you come in, go ahead and share it. Go ahead and share it. I know there's so many people that are going to be coming in and being on with us tonight. We have a great night for you tonight. I'm telling you, this is going to be amazing. So, hey, get ready, buckle your seatbelts, hey, strap in because we're about to go on a real ride. God bless you. Alicia, Pierre, God bless you. I see you coming in. Once you get in, go ahead and just comment. We want to make sure that we get your comments tonight because we're going to be asking questions and we're going to be answering some questions, but we're going to be very poignant on what we do. So, what we are going to get started with is I want to share the opening video so that we can have a understanding of the context that we're going to set for this meeting tonight. This is a question that I asked to Dr. Michael Grayson, who is our special guest tonight. And I asked him about, when things move forward on our credit, and there may be some things that go past a certain period, and people try to come back and try to get you to pay for stuff that's already gone. Should you even entertain it? It was birthed out of that question that he wanted to have further dialogue on this. So, hey, go ahead and share. Go ahead and share because this is something vitally important. And I see everybody getting on. Go ahead and put the information out to others. Share it on your social media. Let's go ahead and get started and watch this.
Now, what I did and what's my claim to fame and why I did some work for President Bush and why congressmen, these guys respect my opinion and ask me to write opinion papers and do studies for them is because I designed the only formula in the country or in the world for credit restoration. I reverse engineered the FICO system and I create a formula that teaches me how the scoring model behaves. Once you master this formula, it's impossible for you to have bad credit. And I'm going to teach it to you. Once you know it's impossible for you to have bad credit. Everybody that you teach it to, it will be impossible for them to have bad credit. You know it's impossible for you. You know it's impossible for you to have bad credit. You have bad credit. Everybody that you teach it to.
Oh my goodness. Did you just hear that? See, once I really paid attention to what's going on with my credit and what's going on around the world with credit, I start paying close attention to realizing that I'm missing out on opportunities, and I don't want you to miss out on opportunities. See, it has to go past our conscious mind into our subconscious that there's a real agenda that's happening around having good credit. So you need to pay a close attention. You need to be on tonight because you're going to hear some things that's going to really, really pique your interest and make you serious about taking care of your credit. Not just trying to pay your bills on time. No, you need to be strategic because there's another level. There's an advanced strategy that you need to understand that's at play, that's at work against you if you don't understand it. They say the people perish because of lack of knowledge. You don't need to lack the knowledge and you don't need to perish, and neither do the people around you. So I see you online tonight at 9. Wow. Hey, to everybody that's on, I want you to go ahead and share this right now. You're about to be introduced to one of the most dynamic men that I've known for several years now. But when I tell you he's a hidden gem, a hidden secret, look, you want people to understand and know who he is. He wants people to know who he is. He's been underground for a while, but just like I ministered to you, many of you, that there's a seed when it's put into the ground, that seed will bear roots down first, and then it will come up out the ground. I think it's his time to come up out of the ground in a major way. He's been doing great things. I want you all to give a warm welcome to Dr. Michael Grayson. Good evening, Dr. Grayson. How are you doing tonight?
Evening. Thank you, sir. I appreciate you. I appreciate the work you do, man. This is great. Great.
Well, we're glad to have you on tonight. Look, I'm just going to start it off with a little dialogue, but you kind of spoke it in the video,
Okay.
just to get a little bit of your history so people know who you are. Man, you did your dissertation and got your doctorate around reverse engineering the FICO credit system. I mean, what made you think about that?
Well, actually, I'm a mathematician and an engineer. So all of my math buddies were kind of talking crap about me because I didn't really publish. So throughout school, I was always very good in math, and I won a lot of awards, most likely to succeed, that kind of thing. So people are like, "Ah, man, you haven't published. Look at what we're doing. What are you doing with your math? You're doing engineering stuff, but what are you doing with the math?" So I did it as an exercise just to prove that my math was still very good. So I didn't really have any practical applications for the algorithm. I just wanted to prove that I can do it. And I actually got obsessed by trying to crack this code. And when I did it, I couldn't believe it. So I have to give credit to God because I'm not that smart. I mean, but it worked then. It still works, So I'm glad you played that clip for me because I forgot that was always my theme was once you know this formula, it is impossible for you to have bad credit. So that is a great way to start.
Once you have the formula, it's impossible for you to have bad credit. Now, I heard that and that hit me like if it is impossible to have bad credit if you know this information, that means a lot of people don't have this formula. So, and you're about to unleash a little bit of it tonight. So,
Yes.
those who you are on, I want you to share this right now and put this on your social media. Send the link to somebody, whether you're on YouTube or Facebook, it doesn't matter. Just share it because what he's about to share, it is absolutely amazing. So, let's kind of talk about how is it impossible for somebody to have bad credit when we know
Okay.
people in our family next door to us that work with us that got bad credit?
Right. So prior to 2000, the credit system was pretty much it was a subjective system. So you had analysts involved, and so it was hard to control the system itself, the outcomes. But in the year 2000, they switched the system to a algorithm based system, and that fell right into your hands because algorithm is math. Math is the truth. The thing that I loved about math is it's hard to make a mistake. Either you get the problem right or you don't. You know right away. I don't need to wait for the teacher to give me a result. I know if I got the problem right or wrong. So the same with your credit system. So now the credit system is an algorithm. And because we are teaching you the algorithm to restore your credit, you will now have that control. But one thing I wanted to touch on so that you understand how serious this is. This is not a joke or a game. Everybody in the world takes credit serious but you. Let me prove it to you. If you Google right now, you're sitting at your computer, you Google colleges, universities, high school, technical schools, anywhere in the United States that teaches a class on credit restoration, how many will you find? So far, I've found zero. So Google returned a zero value. Do you know, again, that is mathematically impossible? Let me prove it to you. So there's not a single college or university or school in the country that's teaching a class on credit restoration. How is that even possible? That has to be an artificial construct. If you ask any professor at any school anywhere in the country and you ask them for a graduating senior even out of high school, what is the single most important thing in their financial life? So for 99% of us, that is always your credit. Now, if you're part of the 1% and your family's wealthy,
maybe it's not important. But even at that level, it's still important because it controls your access to the American dream. So if credit is singly the most important subject in a young adult's life, why are you not teaching it? Why are you not teaching it? Okay. Why is nobody? I'm gonna share something with you. Okay. And I'm not gonna say any names, but I wrote a course just for colleges on to teach people my formula. So this was back in 2001, and I had an agent back then, and she went to all the historically black colleges, and she said, "Here, look at Dr. Grace's course. If you teach it, he will give it to you for free. Just teach the people how to have perfect credit." So the goal is you go to school and you graduate with perfect credit. You got a good education and you got perfect credit. You now control your future, because I don't know how it is for you, but when I graduated from the University of Virginia, they recruit, the 6 months or a year before you graduate. So all those guys are recruiting, but all of those jobs require a credit check. So why is no one teaching you how to fix your credit? So all these college presidents went crazy. They saw the course. They loved this course, right? So they said, "Doc, we're putting you in to the fall semester, every one of them." Now, and they're going to be mad I told you this, but I'm going to tell you. So a couple months or weeks before we went into the fall semester, I started getting phone calls from these university presidents, and one of them and they said, "We decided we're not going to go with your course." I'm like, "What are you talking about, man? Are you kidding me?" And one of them finally told me the truth. I was like, "Man, come on." He said that he got a call from a very large banking institute. I'm not going to tell you their name because you'll be very mad at them. And they told him if they teach my class, that not only will they defund the university, they were going to yank out their ATM machines. That's how mad they were. So that is why no colleges in this entire country will teach you about credit. Nobody will. This is the only forum right now. I'm hoping that there's somebody listening that'll help us change that. But look at this. Look how sick this is. Now, you can't find a college or university anywhere that teaches credit restoration, right? Google colleges or universities that teach you how to knit a dog sweater. Not a sweater. All of them teach you how to knit sweaters. Knit a dog sweater. You'll be upset about the result. There are hundreds of colleges that teach you how to knit a dog sweater.
Hold on. They don't teach how to do credit, which is the most or one of the most vital things, a part of our economic and financial future. But they'll teach all the things you want to know, like you said, to do a dog sweater, to knit a dog sweater. That is crazy to me. So I don't know about y'all, but everybody that's on the line right now, go ahead and share this. And I'm telling you, because he's about to start dropping some bombs before it. But that one thing you just said about classes and not teaching it, and they banned you pretty much from allowing it to be taught in the universities, but they'll teach everything else. Why is that?
Well, let me tell you the problem. So the problem is this: it is a mathematical algorithm. So once you learn it, you can't unlearn it. So once you understand the formula that controls perfect credit, you will always have perfect credit. Let me give you an example. I had to cuss out one of my clients, and they're a friend of mine. And so I cussed them out because she called me and she was frantic, because she had some credit problems. I put her in, this new free program that we have that we'll talk about later. And she went in last month and she was like, my credit is still terrible. Your guys ain't really do nothing and my credit's terrible. I said, well, send me your credit report. Let's take a look at it. So she sent me a credit report. I'm taking a look at it and I see that every account is perfect. My team got rid of all her derogatory credit. So the only thing left was perfect credit, but her score was still in the 500s. So that's when I got really mad. She was like, you know, my score's still in the 500, so I don't have perfect credit. I said, now you're making me mad because you know, you've been to enough of my classes, you know the formula. So you tell me right now why your credit is still bad. And she said, oh, because my credit card balances are too high. Once you fix your balances, and she only owed, because she got low credit cards. So she was about 2,000 over the formula. So I was like, all you have to do is pay $2,000 on your credit report, on your credit cards, and you will have a 750 credit score next month. Between you, what stands between you and perfect credit, because you know she is trying to start a business, and she knows this from other friends of ours and clients of ours. Once you hit 720 in America, you are technically a millionaire. That's why they won't teach you. Because again, let's go back to the question. Once you learn it, you can't unlearn it. So now you know it. And really, the FICO system in its present form is not a true test of your credit worthiness. That is not what it tests at all. Get out of here. That's not what it's testing. It's testing your knowledge of the system. That's why they won't teach you.
Wait, stop. When you said once you hit 720, then
Yeah.
you're quote unquote a millionaire. Break that down for us real quick.
Okay, so in America, if you have a 720 credit score, you have access to capital. You have to have 720 on all three credit bureaus. Anything lower than that, 719, 705, all of those are good numbers. They're good credit, but they don't give you access to capital. So over 720 is called performing credit. That's the only thing I want for anybody we talk to. If you're listening to the program and you follow us, the only thing I care about is performing credit. Don't tell me you got good credit. Everybody say, oh, I got good credit. You know, I'm 680 or I'm 705. No, you don't have good credit. You have what they call underperforming credit. So if you buy anything on your credit and you're under 720, the system penalizes you for using credit. So you have risk-based pricing that overcharge you for everything, and your interest rates are catastrophic. And you know that's true because the median interest rate for credit cards right now is 29%. And now you don't have to be a mathematician to know it's supposed to be a curve. So if the median is right here at 30% and the highest possible credit interest rate is 32% and the lowest is 0, how is that going to work? Again, mathematically impossible.
Exactly.
So they're afraid to teach you the system because now you will always have very good credit. So just like with that friend of mine, once I reminded her, you know the formula. You don't have an excuse. She started kicking herself because she's like, you know, and maybe it's even kind of scary because once you hit 720, you have access to capital. If you're listening to this program tonight and you got a 720 and you don't know how to get, listen, I got business loan programs. I can get you $1 million for your business. But personally, I can get you $250,000 unsecured. I can get you pre-approved for a line of credit to buy real estate for $750,000. So together, you are a millionaire because you have access to $1 million. You don't have $1 million in the bank or in your pocket, and you don't want it that way. You want it when you need it. I'm not saying everybody gets 720 and run out and get $1 million in debt. No, that is not what we're teaching you. I want you to have access to it. So when God presents the right opportunity to you, you're now in a position to take advantage. You're not like, I got friends call me, Doc, I need 50 G's. Man, get off my phone. Don't you ever call me for 50 grand. Call me and tell me you need 50 million. You need 5 million.
Right.
Don't call me and ask me for 50 grand. That's a credit card. In fact, none of my credit cards are 50 G. My lowest card is 80 grand. So don't be calling me. You can have the same things. And we're going to teach you in this program how to turn your credit, how to monetize your credit, turn it into a weapon. Most people don't understand your credit is a weapon in America. It's your access to
Absolutely.
a dream, but you have to know the form.
Look, Dr. Grayson. So people, I don't want nobody online tonight to think you just some regular guy who deals with credit. I don't want them to even equate you to someone that they know that repairs credit. I don't even want them to put them on the same level as you. So I want to be very clear that when it comes to credit, it is something that you have studied deeply, and so much so that people need to understand the position that you're in right now. And let's talk about that real quick, and then we can come back to some of the programs that you have. But anybody that just heard what he said, you got a 720, you need access to capital and have that to do it. Now, let me tell you, he has access to it. He knows how to get it. I've experienced it, so I know it can be done. Okay? So let me just say this. We're going to come back to that because I want you to hear about those programs. But I want you to comment as well. For everybody that's on tonight, put something in the comments. If you got a question, you got something you need answered about credit, or you want to hear more of a particular topic, put it in the comments. We want to share it. We're going to come back to it. But Dr. Grayson, how is it that when I Google your name, it says that you have been in a fight with all three credit bureaus? Talk a little bit about that.
Okay, so for the last, 20 years, but more importantly, for the last 6 years, I am always the guy behind the scenes suing the credit bureaus to keep them on an even playing field. The credit bureaus are, you got to keep them honest because they're your enemy. They're not trying to help you. Their job is to keep your credit bad. So 6 years ago, Equifax targeted me personally with one of the. So I've always said that Equifax, all the credit bureaus have an algorithm, and they tweak the algorithm to attack certain demographics, right? So it was just a matter of time before I became a victim of it. But I'm waiting for this. And they kind of stepped into it by putting me in your algorithm because I see algorithms. I think in terms of algorithms. So they attacked my credit. And what was funny was because I am who I am, every time they would attack me, I would fix it. So that must have really frustrated the algorithm because they can't keep my score low. So the algorithm is dropping everybody that it targets 50 to 100 points. So every time they would drop me, I would fix the problem. So through the course of that, I collected 1,500 pages of evidence that proved that Equifax actively falsified my credit report. So I'm in court with them. I'm suing them pro se, right? I'm suing them by myself without an attorney. They have blown through 3 law firms. So now they finally hired a company called Seyfarth Shaw. If you Google Seyfarth Shaw, Wikipedia says that Seyfarth Shaw is arguably the most powerful law firm in the world. They said that out of 500 Fortune 500 companies, 300 of them are their clients. So that's who Equifax hired to fight me personally. And to make it worse, they have 3 full-time attorneys, right? And these guys still couldn't win. They still can't beat me, right? Because I'm at the top. I'm the apex predator. I'm Godzilla, you Tokyo, right? So in order to try to win and turn the tide, they wanted to show that I'm not as smart as I think I am. And I don't really think I'm smart. I'm just playing with you. But they turned in 70 documents, and this is how panicked and frustrated they are. They don't want me to go to trial and show America these 1,500 pages of documents. So they actually created 70 pages of falsified documents. Now, I'm going to clarify that statement. Now, technically, I can't say that Equifax created these fabricated documents or fabricated evidence because they swore on affidavit they didn't create it. So no problem. They didn't create the documents. Somehow, mysteriously, these 70 pages got into their possession, by some mysterious creator, and they used it in a court of law. Now, unfortunately for them, if some of these documents contain my stolen identification, my stolen financial documents, and stolen personal information. So I'm gonna give you a quick test here. If you, and again, you didn't create these documents, maybe you didn't even steal them from me, right? But if you take somebody's personal identification and personal financial data and you use it to benefit yourself financially, somebody tell me what that is called. If you use my personal data and my identification without my permission for a financial gain, what is that called? It's called identity theft and identity fraud. So I currently have in my possession proof that Equifax committed identity theft and identity fraud against me personally. So I have a police report, I have an ID theft affidavit, I just did an interview with the FBI, I have a couple politicians who are preparing a bill to go after this issue. We're starting to get, I got complaints in with 3 attorney generals. So we're starting to get to the bottom of this because you ought to be scared. Don't worry that they committed identity theft and identity fraud against Dr. Grayson. I ain't nobody. If they're committing it against me, what do you think they're doing to you? So part of what we're doing, we set up the website. So if you've had similar problems, because part of what the politicians want to show is this is a bigger problem than them falsely going after Dr. Grayson. If you have a similar problem or you're having trouble getting your credit right, then let us know because we're going to help you, but we're going to expose this problem. Think of you ought to, if you're an American, you ought to be upset right now. The people who we have put in charge of your personal data committed identity theft and identity fraud using my data. These are the people
who try to win their case.
Just to try to win this case. That's the only way they could think to beat. Now, the judge gave them a partial summary judgment. So the partial summary judgment put me into a pigeonhole. So I came after them. I have proof that they committed 2,200 violations against me personally, 2,200. So the partial summary judgment, the judge erased 2,198 of those violations, and she only left me with 2. So she played right into Equifax hands. The problem for her now personally is she did it based on fabricated evidence. So if you can imagine a judge, this is for the first time in U.S. history, a federal judge authorized the use of fabricated evidence. Again,
wow,
these guys ain't playing. Wow. They're mad. Dr. Grayson, you're trying to expose a fundamental system of financial slavery that's here in America. They're mad. They're very mad.
So the whole impetus of you, this ain't really about you. This is really about the American people.
One person. It's about certain demographics. Yes.
Certain demographics. Yeah. I got a question that came in right here, a comment. So this is my daughter here. She says, I need to understand the seesaw of the FICO scores. I'm almost at an 800. Just when I get close, it drops, then gradually goes back up, but I'm not sure what's happening. This explains it. She's saying basically what you're saying, it kind of explains it.
No, that's an excellent question. She is obviously plugged in. So one of the reasons I'm going to teach you the algorithm so that you can see once you do, like there's only 5 components to your credit score. So we're going to teach you the formula for each component. Now, once you do that and you complete it, you should be between 800 and 850 at all times. If you're not, it's because they're using the algorithm against you. Once you do everything right, your score jumps up. But sometimes the algorithm gets mad. You know, if
Yeah.
you're a certain demographic and you're consistently over 800, the algorithms like, because let me show you something else that's mathematically impossible. So if you Google it, you will see the median credit score for white Americans is 727, right? That's great, right? What is the median credit score for African Americans? 627. Do you know that it is mathematically impossible? How are you 100 points less? Impossible. Now you're saying that credit is based on race. Nobody, that's unsustainable as a statistic. So it has to be artificially created to get you 100 points. If it was 10 points less or 20, maybe even 30 points less, I could say, yeah, maybe. But 100 points less, impossible. Impossible.
Yeah, impossible. So the bigger picture here is what I understand, and you kind of shared it with me, so I'm gonna kind of give insight that it's possible because of the macro economy that if corporations want to boost their income or their bottom line, that they can play a little game
Yes.
with credit unions. I mean, the credit agencies, and say, "Hey, skew these numbers so that we can actually increase the amount that we can charge. So we'll have more dollars, and we'll split that with you." Is that possible?
You got to look at, and you hit it right on the head. So if you Google this article, Time Magazine did this article, right? So the article says the top 1% stole $50 trillion from the bottom 90% over the past 20 years. So again, Time Magazine, they did a ton of research and they proved that the top 1% stole 50 trillion. So that's at a rate of 2.5 trillion per year. It works out to be between 600 and 2,500 per. So wait a minute. How can you steal $600 from me? You know, nobody walked up behind me and hit me in the head or put a gun on me. How are they stealing 600 to 2,500 bucks per month from me? This is how they're doing it. If all I have to do is fraudulently report your credit. So a recent survey said 70% of you have some type of false reporting. So again, the object is not to stop you from buying stuff. I don't want you to get turned down. I want you to pay 30% interest.
Wow.
Do you know people pay 25% interest on car loans? Man, get out of here. I saw a client that had a mortgage for 15%. Come on, people. Come on.
Wow.
Come on. They are pimping you. And that is right where they want you. They don't want to stop you from doing stuff. They want to penalize you.
Yeah.
And that translates into $2.5 trillion per year. Now, to put that in perspective, if you totaled up all the other crimes in the entirety of the United States, the drug business, you know, the cartels is only doing, I think it came out to be like 200 billion a year. So if you total all crime in America, it's still going to come into less than half of that. It's still like 500 billion. It's very low. So that makes this scam the largest scam in the history of this country. Time Magazine reported it, and what are you guys doing about it? Nobody's doing anything about it. Nobody's talking about
it. Alicia says, "I'm ready to learn the system and educate the community." So that's what we need to be about. Thank you so much.
And that's what we need. I need you not to take this information and hoard it and show everybody you got an 800 credit score in 2 months. That's not what I'm doing. You know, I'm about to retire from this end of the business. I'm an engineer. We got some stuff going on. So I need you to take it and spread it. You know, everybody that you care about and love. That's what I'm saying. Everybody in your, I want everybody to create, we call it a RFN, reciprocating financial network. Everybody should have their own reciprocating financial networks. So the world is telling you, build your social networks. That's what everybody's doing, building a social network. We're going to flip the script on them. We're going to take those social networks and turn them into financial
networks. That's what I'm talking about right there. So, what do we need to do? What are the things we need to do now in order to get educated? What's the next step? Because I know, just on this, for those that are on here tonight, Dr. Grayson has a program that he's going to release. So don't go nowhere. Matter of fact, go ahead and share this right now. Go ahead and share this, because the people that you share this with, they're going to thank you.
Okay. All right. So the first step Dr. Harris will give you a link so that you can pull your credit for $1. Everybody needs to see their credit. People always talk to me about what's going on with their credit. I got bad credit, I got good credit. You don't know unless you just looked at your credit a couple weeks ago. Because every month, just like your daughter just said, they keep attacking your credit. You don't know what's going on with your credit. You have to look at it at least once every other month. Ideally once a month. So the first step, look at your credit. And then through the course of this program, you'll know how to analyze it, or you could send it to us and we'll analyze it. But for everybody on this that's listening, so we're bringing awareness to this issue. We're going to fix your credit for free. Normally this is a $1,500 cost. If you go to our website, in fact, our website now is called perfectcreditforfree.com. Perfect Credit, the number 4, free.com. So everybody that you know before the summer's out should have perfect credit. Please don't let any relative, any member of your church, anybody that you really care about, make sure that they have perfect credit before the end of the summer. Because right now it's free to them. It's free. All I ask is if you make a minimum donation to our legal fund, you don't even have to make a big donation. And then after we give you perfect credit, if you are really happy, donate us some more money. But that is what we're doing, though. I need to fix your credit for free. Unfortunately, we can only do 10,000 folk, which is a lot for us. But unfortunately, millions have a credit problem. But that's why I'm saying go out and talk to everybody that you care about. Make sure they have perfect credit.
Okay. Carla says, what's your opinion on sites like Credit Karma for credit monitoring?
Okay, so credit monitoring is a great premise. Now, unfortunately, they're very expensive. So you have sites like Credit Karma. Credit Karma is a third-party source, so they're not as accurate as some of the other ones, but I have a Credit Karma account. So the key, though, they only give you 2 accounts. So they give you Equifax and they give you TransUnion. So your Experian, but check this out. Now the law says the Experian has to give you a free pull as well. So you can actually get all 3 of them. So you can go to Credit Karma, but then you also have to go to Experian together. Because you need to see what's happening on all 3 of them. But ideally, you need credit monitoring to know what's going on. They make it expensive so you won't do it. If you look at your credit every month, you will start to figure out the algorithm for yourself. If you really look at it and say, wait a minute, when I did this and this, my score went up, or I did these things, but now my score is not moving. They are afraid that you're going to learn the patterns. So they try to discourage you. So do the freebie if you can't afford credit monitoring, no problem. Credit Karma and Experian together. That gets you all 3 bureaus. But yeah,
I've heard this, and you can clear this up. What's the difference between your credit score and a Vantage score?
Okay, so there's 2 different scoring models. So your credit score is a FICO score. The FICO score was invented by the Fair Isaacs Corporation. They invented the credit scoring system used by every industrialized nation in the world. They invented it. Now, at a certain point, they were making so much money that the credit bureau said, hey, we want to create our own score. So they came up with the Vantage scoring model themselves to cash in. But ultimately, they're very close. But realistically, lenders don't make decisions based on either one. Lenders use what's called a blended score, which we're going to talk more about in this
Yeah.
program. They use blended scores. So that's why, like, you might have a good FICO or a good Vantage, and this one might be lower. You go into a car dealership and your credit score is completely different.
Yeah.
Credit score are blended. They use their own, and we're going to talk about this. It's called the Banker's Internal Credit Score, BICS. So your score that people really use is a blend of your FICO credit score or Vantage score and the BICS model. And we're going to teach you both credit scores so you control your destiny. But it's a blended score of those two. Your insurance scores, health score, all of those are different. So you can't focus on, do I have a FICO or Vantage? No. You need to know the formula, know the BICS model.
Gotcha. Okay, so just for those, they got their own scoring system. You go get a car, or you go any type of other financing, they pull information. So I got one comment here. Last week, I sat in front of an Allstate insurance agent seeking lower costs for auto insurance because it was risen up. The agent said my auto score is 30, which is high. All three FICO scores are above 720. What's that about, Dr. Grayson?
Okay, excellent question. So I'm glad that your audience is obviously very sophisticated. So
Yes.
your insurance is tied to your credit score. Your insurance, so it used to be zip code and driving record. Now it's credit score, driving record, and zip code. So you have to be over 720 on all bureaus, and you have to ask them physically to put you into the lowest tier. So what happens is, whenever you sign up for any type of credit-based relationship, credit cards, house mortgage, insurance, you sign an agreement that says as your score goes down, your rates go up. So at some point, you might have had a lower, they might flag you when you're at 620 because your scores are doing this all the time because you don't know the formula. So they wait till it dips, they pull you then, and they say, oh, you're at 620, and they give you the 620 rate. So you have to call your insurance carrier back and say, hey, look, take a look at my credit. I'm overall I'm 720 and all. What is pulling my ranking down? Okay.
Yeah.
So if you have a good driving record and you live in a good zip code and you have all 720s, you are supposed to be in the lowest tier. But now that you know that, you can use that to your advantage. So part of what we're going to teach you in this series, it's called 0-point conversion, how to call these creditors. And once you're over 720, which all of you will be in a couple months, if you're not already, how to call them and say, hey, put me in the top tier. Because that 600 to 2,500 they're stealing from you, we're going to get all that back. And that is how you do it. But you have to call every creditor and say, what tier ranking am I at? Which you did, which is excellent, but you got to pin them down. Why is it there? But first, you got to make sure you're over 720 on all, because sometimes they will flag you when you're less than that and raise your rates.
Gotcha. Great point. Man, I got so many questions. I'm gonna let Sister Alicia, she does a lot of support as it relates to like Legal Shield and all that, and I know that she has ID Shield that monitors all three credit bureaus, and the three bureaus love to know if this is a good one. I'm trying. Three bureaus love to know if this is a good one. Okay, she's saying she's asking a question. Would love to know if ID Shield is a good one, I guess.
Okay, so
question.
Ultimately, this is my problem with monitoring services in general. So I'm working on a commercial, and in the commercial, you have an older lady walking the street. Somebody runs up, snatches her purse, and she's walking right next to a cop, and the cop taps her on the shoulder and says, hey, that dude just stole your purse. And she says, well, you're a cop, do something. And he says, no, I'm just monitoring. So the initial issue is they're not teaching, they're telling you they're monitoring, and Identity Shield gives you some insurance protections against ID theft. But let me tell you why that is kind of a trick. Okay, the law says they're saying, listen, if somebody buys a car in your name, we will eliminate that debt for you. If somebody maxes out your credit card and stole your identity, we'll get that money back for you. This is the problem with that. The law says if it's the product of identity theft, you're not responsible for it anyway. You're not responsible. Nobody can make you pay identity theft related stuff. All you have to do is file an identity theft affidavit, send it to the creditor, and they got to eliminate the debt anyway. So it's kind of a trick. Yeah, you can insure me 10 million against identity theft if you don't have to pay nothing. And then this is another problem I have with them. So they're saying, listen, you have protection against any type of identity theft, fraud, or something like that, but then they don't fix your credit. What good is it? I don't have to pay. I didn't have to pay anyway. I wouldn't have a problem with them if they said, hey, we're going to restore your credit to pre-theft levels. Why aren't you doing that? That is more important to me than that debt. Fix my credit to where it was before the theft happened, and now we are friends. So until that happens, then I have a problem with that.
Yeah, credit monitoring in general. Yeah.
Identity theft, all those, protection shield based, protect you for identity theft. That, come on, that is meaningless. It does. There's no benefit for you. Tell them, are you going to fix my credit and return it to pre-theft conditions? Then that's worth buying. If they don't do that, you're getting nothing.
She said they do it.
Oh, they do the credit restoration for you?
Yeah,
okay.
They do it.
Very good. As long as they're doing the credit restoration and eliminating debt, then yes,
that's worth it.
There's no question about it.
So we only got a few more minutes left. So let's just let me ask the poll. I want to poll the people. Everybody that's on here that's listening, I need you to respond. Do you want to have more consecutive sessions like that? I think we want to do this for an extended period of time to bring awareness. Do you want to have? Would you invite others on? I want you to put a yes in the put a 111 in the comments. 111 if you want more of this, and you will invite others to come out. 111. Put a 111 in the comments. And I know it takes about a while for it to propagate out, but I want everybody to respond that's on right now. That's on right now. Okay, thank you. All right, I see you coming through. Thank you, Cassandra. Thank you, Alicia. Thank you, Mary. Thank you, April. All right, there we go. So that's, come on, anybody else? I know you, if you're driving, don't do it. But if you're sitting down, do it. I got a yes here. Okay. All right, great. We're going to do more of these. We want to make sure that everybody's aware of what's going on and how. Donovan Wilburn got you. Thank you, Danita. You guys are amazing. So here's what we need to do. I need you. We're going to keep it coming. Thank you, Carla. Love you. You guys are amazing. So we want to do this. We got a few more minutes. I want to hit on this. Yeah, so there we go. People are they're chiming in, Dr. Grayson.
Very nice. I appreciate it. Very nice.
Yeah. So here's the last thing. I'm late on my payments.
Okay.
Right? And man, I just don't have it. And they blowing my phone up.
Yes.
I mean, what do I need to do? I mean, I'm trying to figure it out. I'm just in a hard time right now, tough time. And now they blowing my phone up, and I'm on month number 3 that I owe something. Excellent
question. Listen very carefully. You live in America. So in America, you have debt insurance. So let me show you how it works. It's called a debt filter. So every single creditor in this country is required to offer you some type of debt protection. Free. And all you have to do is ask, but you got to ask the right way. So I'm working. So even for me personally, I've had to use this several times because I've been in the hospital for extended stays. But ideally, so if you lose your job, you're in a car accident, you got surgery, you got whatever, unnecessary or unexpected expenses, you know that you're about to have a financial hardship. All you do is pick up the phone, call every single creditor, and tell them to put you in their hardship program. Every single creditor has to have it. And don't make the mistake that some of my clients did. They will call like one or two of their biggest ones. Wrong. Call every creditor and say, hey, I need to be enrolled into your hardship program. So most creditors, and most of them, will give you 3 to 6 month deferment. If you can't resolve in 3 to 6 months, we probably need to look at some other strategies. But the best way, so you got a car note due and you don't foresee being able to pay it, no problem. Call them up. You can't call them and say, I'm having trouble paying. What's my options? No, you have to say, please tell me about your hardship program. You have to use those keywords. Even for your credit cards, every credit card company, and some of them are great. Listen, I had a client that had an American Express payment for business. He was paying like $7,000 per month. His principal was still growing. He was really struggling with it, but he sat in on one of our programs, and he called him and he said, listen, my interest is too high. I'm having trouble making the payments. They said, oh, no problem, sir. We're going to lower your rate. So we took you down from 19% to 13%. So he called me up. He said, Doc, that did drop my payment to $6,000 per month, but I'm still struggling. I said, you didn't listen to what I said. I said, make sure you use the key words. Enter me into your hardship program. So we called back. This time I was on the phone with him. And he started with the guy again. He said, hey, and he started down the same wrong track. But I'm on the phone listening with him. And so he was like, man, I can't afford this payment. I'm struggling. The guy said, well, I'm looking in my records. I see here that we just lowered your rate 2 weeks ago. Call me back in another 6 weeks. If you keep making on-time payments, I can drop you down another point. I said, I'm sorry, excuse me. Yeah, this is my brother on the phone because he is my brother in Christ. I said, this is my brother. He made a mistake, sir. What he meant to tell you was he would like to be included in your hardship program. The guy said, oh, he didn't say that. So he switches to another department. Amex gave him 0% interest for a year. And a lot of the companies will do 0% interest. That dropped his payment down. It cut it in half. And it attacked the principal, so his payment was actually shrinking every month. So you have to use, it's called a stage 1 debt filter. Every creditor, if somebody tell you they don't have it, call and let us know. Let me call with you.
Knowledge is power.
Shut down all your payments for 90 days. I do this every couple of years. So I say, because I have to keep a certain margin of savings. I don't care about nothing else. My savings have to stay intact, but I want to keep my credit good. So it's called a stage 1 debt filter. Call every single creditor, not one or two, everybody, and take 90 days off, stack your money. Now you're ready to go back at it. Excellent question, sir. Excellent way to end it.
Wow. Let's just say it went past the period, and now they were blowing my phone up. 3 months, now it's 4 months. I don't hear nothing from them. But then all of a sudden, out the blue, some company called me and said they want to collect on some debt that's old. What do I do? I mean, because I want to be a good steward. I had the debt. So I pay them?
Yes. So here we go again with being an American citizen. So as the reason I pay my taxes is because my taxes buy me debt insurance. If you knew where your tax dollars really goes, it doesn't go to build bridges and pave roads. Get out of here. Call the IRS and ask them, or ask a politician, where do my tax dollars go? they will tell you it goes to the Federal Reserve System, which controls all credit obligations in this country. It goes into the Federal Reserve System. So your tax dollars is a premium to debt insurance. So this is what you have to know about being an American citizen. And this is probably going to make some people mad that I'm telling you this, but this show is unfiltered, okay? Because I need you to have perfect credit in 2 or 3 months. So once you stop paying anything for 120 days, the debt will invariably be canceled. That is how the system works in America. Almost no creditors keep a debt on the books past 120 days. Let me prove it to you. So you stop paying this month, they are blowing you up like psychotics. And now they got your email, they're texting you, the creditor is on you, they're driving you insane. But like clockwork, at 120 days, they stop calling. So this is what you should know, because listen, I'm kind of smart. If I owe somebody some money and they're blowing me up and they stop calling me, what is the only thing that's going to stop them from calling? People, they got paid. That's the only reason I will ever stop calling you for my money. So they step in. It's called a 1099-C. Google that, guys. 1099-C. So the government, if you go to the IRS website, irs.gov, you put in bad debt deduction. This is the top secret stuff in our system. So the bad debt deduction, once a creditor believes that you will no longer pay them, they can apply and take this credit from the IRS. So that's why you pay tax dollars. So that's why do you call the IRS Uncle Sam? That is a term of endearment, people. The IRS is not evil. If you think the IRS is evil, that's because you're crazy. The IRS is your best friend. He is your rich uncle that pays all the bills you can't pay, people. So they step in after 120 days. Again, let me prove it to you. Try to pay somebody that you haven't paid in 120 days. Will they accept your money? Of course they won't. They can't, because the debt's canceled. What they will try to do is confuse you with word salad. So this is what they say, and listen carefully. Try this. Now, I know everybody on this program probably hasn't had this problem, so try it with one of your friends that struggle. Call one of their creditors with them after 120 days. So you got a Capital One card you ain't paid in 122 days. Call them and say, hey, this is Dr. Grayson. I know I ain't paid you in a while, but things are better now. I would like to pay you. Give me my account number and the amount I owe you. That's the only thing you should be talking about. Give me the account number and the amount I owe you. Are they going to do that? If they issued the 1099-C, legally they cannot, because the debt is canceled. What they can say is this: hey, we transferred the debt to a collection agency. What does that mean, Pastor? What does that mean? It means nothing. It's meaningless. It's right. A trick. Right. Because this is what I tell them. I like to mess with them. Sometimes I get on with my friends or clients. I say, oh, you transferred it. I understand. I wasn't paying, so you transferred. Okay, do me a favor. Transfer it back. Because that's how transfers work, right? Yeah. You transferred it to them. Transfer it back. I'm going to hold on. Let me know once you transfer it back, because I'm going to pay you. I didn't borrow any money from them.
Right.
And when I look on the internet said that these guys are an ongoing criminal enterprise. I can't pay them. I might as well walk down the street and pay drug dealers money. I don't do that. But I will pay you. Transfer it back. Simply give me my account number and my amount owed. Good luck with that one. So you can't pay them. But throughout the course of this program, we're going to teach you how to handle it. So you can't have a debt problem. You can just have a credit problem, which you can fix.
All right. Last one. And this is by Uncle Sam. So let's see what Sister Lisa says. Does this work with the IRS? I've had so many of my clients having problems making their payments to the IRS.
Get out of here. Man, I love your audience. Listen to me. The IRS has one of the best debt filters in the country. Of course they do, because they're the IRS. Your tax dollars fund debt insurance. So of course they have it. It's called offer in compromise. Listen, people, if you owe the IRS money, you shouldn't be paying them. You should be filtering it. And that's a controversial statement. Don't pay the IRS, filter the IRS. Don't pay bad debts, filter the IRS. If you're paying all this bad debt, you're buying bad credit, because you must really love your bad credit because you're paying good money for it. So if your clients owe the IRS, it's probably because they got an intent to levy letter. And on that letter, it says, you owe us, 50 G's. We're the IRS. Don't make us come for you. And it's the IRS. You read about Wesley Snipes and all these guys. You don't want them coming for you. So you get scared. They say, call this number right now. When you call that number, the guy you get on the other line is somebody that probably used to get their lunch money taken when they was young, because now they got a little power with the IRS, and they're like, listen, pay me my money now. Oh, I can't afford it. I'm gonna give you a payment plan. I'm only gonna give you 4 payments. I want $5,000 a month. But sir, they don't care. They're gonna put you on a payment plan that you can't afford.
Right.
That is their job, because your job was to know the credit system. That's not their job to teach you. Your job is to know. You should have known that you should have filed an OIC. Now, we're going to probably do a whole program on OIC.
Yes, that's what Carla just said right there. If you see it in the comments, offer and compromise.
Yes, you can, but it's very tricky. Please don't do it until you listen to the show. But I want you to start by going to the IRS.gov website and Google on their search module, offer and compromise. It tells you there in plain English. It says that offer and compromise is an option if you can't pay. It is the only option you should have. And let me tell you the beauty of what we do, and it makes me look like a genius. Once you file the OIC, it shuts down all collection activity. It shuts down all payment plans. So you sign a payment plan that you can't afford. Oh, I see it. It shuts it down. I'm gonna give you a quick example of how effective it is. So I was having a meeting with some studio execs that want to do something on credit. So I was in our conference room, and somebody, the staff, the receptionist, they kept knocking on the door to the conference room saying, I got a phone call. And I'm like, can't you see who I'm with? Get away from the door, but they kept coming back. And finally I said, excuse me, let me get to the bottom of this. And I'm like, what the heck are you guys doing? You see, I'm in a meeting. They're like, this guy's on the phone. He is going crazy. He insists that he talk to you. So I get on the phone. It's one of our clients. I'm like, what's going on, buddy? He said, the IRS is here at my shop. They're getting ready to liquidate all my assets. They're packing up all my stuff in my store. I was like, man, why you ain't tell me you had an IRS problem? He said, I thought I could handle it. I hired some guy. Okay, no problem. Find the agent in charge and hand him the phone. So he found the agent in charge. He gave him the phone. I said, hey, sir, my name is Dr. Grayson. This client, this person you're packing his store up is a client of mine. He told me that he didn't tell you that I did an OIC for him. And he said, OIC? He didn't say that. He said, psst, guys, wrap it up. Wrap it up.
Wow.
He shut down the collection instantly. And then he said this, though. It was funny, though. I didn't laugh, but it was funny. He said, oh, yeah, by the way, Dr. Grayson, make sure I have that OIC on my desk in the morning. Right? So obviously, I got off the phone and put together a very quick OIC for this client. But that is the power of it. Go to the website and read it for yourself. If you file it, it shuts down all collection activity. Don't tell me you're going to go to the jail or get out of here. They're closing your business. You didn't file an OIC, obviously.
Yeah. Well, man, we're right at the hour. We're going to come back again on tomorrow night. Guys, I'm telling you, we're just going to keep this going. So at 9 o'clock, roughly, we're going to be there because I know I got a service on tomorrow night, but we're going to do it right after service. You guys want to get back on because there's more information. and we're going to give the information about how to get your credit done. As Dr. Grayson said, he'll do it for free, but he would love a donation on top of that because of what he's doing and bringing the awareness. And so a seed offering would be welcomed to sow that seed. I know that I always want to keep my credit on the top tier. So I would definitely be participating in that. And anybody that's on my team, we want you to do the same. So Dr. Grayson, thank you so much for your time.
Pleasure. You know, I love you, man. I love what you do. You're so needed in our community. Keep up the good work. I support you 100%.
I support you as well. Thank you. Everybody that's on, if there are any questions, you can actually post this. Somebody just, Pierre just put in a last comment. Can you use the OIC for student loans for these online schools, i.e. ITT or Garcery or et cetera?
No, there's a debt filter just for student loans. Make sure you ask that question tomorrow. Come on. It's impossible to have student loan debt problems in America. Impossible.
Wow. We're going to pick it up with that one tomorrow. So get back on tomorrow. We're going to talk about student loan debt. And then we're going to, after that, we're going to talk about medical debt. Medical debt. So those two things are tomorrow. But we'll have the information posted for you to go ahead and sign up so that you can make your donations, you get on the list to get your credit to perfect credit. God bless you. We love you
guys. I love your audience. Very intelligent folk. Thank you.
Thank you.